How's everybody doing today? Awesome. Great, I'm great.
So Nick, what's the plan for Thursday night with the starters, and then with Jalen Hurts? Are you going to get him out there to play?
Yeah, we're still talking through that. Every day. We don't have exactly. Again, there's guys. Everybody's in a little different scenario. So for me to say, hey, the starters are playing this many, it's everybody's got. We've discussed everybody, and everybody has their own little scenario that we're doing. So expect everybody to play for the most part. And yeah, that's in constant discussion.
Quarterback rotation at all? How do you see that playing out?
Yeah, same way it's been playing out in practice. Jalen will go with the starters, and then Joe will go in after him, and Nick will go after him.
What about the running back action?
We're still looking at that. We still got another practice to evaluate to see who we want to go in there, but we got another practice to see who it is. So yeah, not going to name that right yet.
The preseason used to be the last game when there was 4. Mm-hmm. Starters almost never played. Because there's so much time in between, and the third game was usually a big game, is your approach different this year for that third game?
Again, yes, we've talked through all these things. We have a plan in place. I don't want to, Howard, I don't want to tell you this is what they're playing, because that could change. Like, things change every single day. What I do know is that we have the joint practices too, to me, count like preseason games as well, against the Patriots and the Jets. So we have a lot of time to still think about that. I have a plan in place right now, but I just don't want to disappoint you if I don't follow through with what I'm saying.
When it comes to in-game management stuff, your first time handling the in-game management in a game, how much thought has already gone into that, and how much do you view this preseason as kind of a trial run for you?
Yeah, it's definitely a trial run. We, as far as game management goes, being in that, let's talk about the 2-minute drill and stuff like that. We've been together, like Kevin and I and Jason, we've been together for a while, so we know what we want to call with time on the clock, when our timeout scenarios are, when we're clocking it as opposed to getting up and running on the ball. So there's things that but there's a ton of situations that go into that, right? So that feels like every time we sit up there and we watch plays, like for instance, we watched about 500 plays of end-of-game plays the other day, and just like the scenarios inside of it, something always pops up. So we're really prepared, really prepared, but there's going to be things that pop up, and I look forward to the trial run on Thursday.
Specifically with Jalen Hurts, how fluid will you be from your plan, like based on what he does and how the different drives go and all that?
Yeah, with Jalen, I think I'm answering your question, so if I'm not, I'll come back But with Jalen, like, there's things too. Like, one of the things that we have to our advantage is that nobody really knows what we're running. So to say we're going to show everything on Thursday or the following preseason game or the following preseason games, that's just not going to be the case. That's an advantage that we have that other staff don't, because we don't have any tape out there of us. Am I answering your question?
Well, no, what I mean is just as far as his playing time on Thursday night, like if he comes out, you have an 80-yard touchdown drive to open the game, you get him out of there, that kind of thing.
That would be great.
Or if there's a couple 3-and-outs, like how much will you adjust his playing time?
Again, yes, it's everything. That's why I don't want to say. That's why I don't want to tell you guys this is how many series, because exactly what you're saying. If we go out and we have a 7-play drive, and then we reevaluate just like we do in a game. So, and if we go 3-and-out, and then we reevaluate. So it's yes, everything is on I don't want to say sliding scale to say, yeah.
For the open practice and all the other workouts, what would you like to see the starting offenses move upon Thursday night?
Yeah, just be consistent with moving the football and be consistent. Kind of eliminate anything that we always talk about, eliminating things that eliminate the mistakes that require no talent, right? So the not lining up right or a false start or something like that. That requires no talent to line up right and to not jump off sides. Let's let our talent take over and eliminate those things. So, because I thought the practice over at the stadium went well, as far as offensively speaking, went well for them, but there were some sloppy things with pre-snap penalties. There was some sloppy, Quez's big play came back because we weren't lined up right. So just eliminating those things, really honing in on, hey, here's what we're running. here's what we're going to do, and go out there and not have to think a lot because we're doing that, and let their talent take over.
Kind of overriding philosophy of the preseason. Guys are in uniform, there's live reps, lights are on, so to speak. Do things get different? Is it easier to evaluate?
Yeah, I think, particularly at different positions, again, we want practice to be like the game as much as we possibly can. So we're trying to put ourselves in, and you can see out there how the guys are practicing. They're practicing hard. But we aren't taking people to the ground, right? So I think it's always interesting for a running back to get out there, because out here you're like, did he slip that tackle? Did he not slip that tackle? Some of the defensive coaches are saying, we tackled him right there. And some of the offensive coaches are saying, no, we slipped that one. You get to find out when the lights come on and it's live to the ground.
Or is it to be able to see like a lot of the young guys play? I mean, last year obviously no preseason games. Teams weren't allowed to do that. So like, how valuable is that? What are you looking to see from?
Yeah, again, I mean, we just treat every practice so much like the game that we feel like we're going to know exactly what's happening coming out here. Just we got ideas of what's going to happen, but there always are some people that surprise you when it's the lights are on. And I can think of one guy that's just in my mind that I'm thinking of is Austin Eckler at the Chargers. Like, he was kind of buried on the depth chart, and the lights came on, and it was that running back scenario we just talked about. And he was making all sorts of plays, and then we couldn't keep him off the 53-man roster. So that's what you're excited about. Yes, everything we do in practice is preparation for the game, and we like to think that we're going hard in practice, and we are. But you always see there always is something that pops up when the lights come on and when it's tackled to the ground, and that's for the defense too, because now they got to secure those tackles as well.
Because you guys couldn't do 11-11s in the spring, where do you stand in terms of how far you are in getting to where you need to be offensively versus, let's say, your first year with Frank in the Colts?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a really good question. Just you don't have that first off season with all those plays. So it's not that you're behind. You just have less reps, right? We just have less reps of when we started there with the Colts. But as far as I think I've talked about the talent on this team that Howie and his staff have put together. I'm just really pleased with them, and I don't want to say one thing or the other about the Colts and the players on either team, but. Yeah, I'm really pleased with where we are right now, especially with out of 11-on-11 drills. So fundamentals, I see fundamentals that are being continued to be improved because we spent all those times where we would have had 11-on-11 with our fundamentals, and that's helping us with our plays right now.
Are you going to be the exclusive play caller on offense, and how's the communication system going to work in between the assistants to you?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, so. I will be the play caller, and then Shane will actually be the one talking to the quarterback. So I'll say a number to Shane, and Shane will say the number to Jalen if it's a wristband play, or I'll say the number to Shane, and he'll read it to Jalen. So we've been in that situation before, and that's just so I can talk to other people too and make some notes here. So I just think that's the communication that he hears every day in practice, and that's why we'll do it like that in the game.
How close is Landon Dickerson to getting back on the field, and in what ways has he been able to get better over this time?
Yeah, not going to put a timetable on Landon, but I know that he's working hard with the training staff to get himself ready to go, and I just see him every day just working full speed in meetings and working full speed in walkthroughs, watching reps as well. So I'm pleased with where he is mentally. That's all we can really judge on him right now, and his where he is on his rehab schedule.
Jalen's style of play, is it easier to evaluate him in a game when people are tackling than it is in practice when he's wearing a red jersey?
I think so. I mean, I do. I think so. I got on Tyler, my assistant, is the one who's blowing the whistle on sacks, and so I said he was a little premature on a couple of those whistles the other night and the other day. I think. Especially because when I really think this team knows how to practice. They know, hey, we're going to have to practice without pads. We got to practice to stay away from the quarterback. So they're doing a good job of that. And there's things that, again, just like tackling, there's things like, hey, what do you got the sack there? I don't know, right? You just got to. The defense would say yes, the offense would say no. So you definitely see that. Now you'll see that in the game because no two-hand touch on Thursday.
Is this your first time calling a game? Did Frank ever give you a preseason game with that?
He gave me preseason games. I was just telling Bob in 2011 also, Todd Haley had gotten let go, and I called all the passes against Green Bay in that game as well. But there was preseason games that Frank let me call. There was preseason games that Mike McCoy let me call. So not the very first time.
Challenges of calling the plays.
It's again when we were calling the plays, all the places I've been, it's always, hey, I think the only difference is that I'm not the one pulling the trigger on every single one, because there was constant communication, in between series. Hey, Frank, what do you think about this, and this? Now, then it was Frank pulling the trigger, but we would talk through it. It's just a different guy we're still going to talk through it as a staff. Here's what we want to run, and it's just, hey, we're calling this at this time.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.